Hello, my friends. Today we are talking about pattern paper and using it as a way to create your color scheme for the entire card design process. Now, this is the paper that I've chosen to use for our design today. It is a new paper by Rosie's Studio called Jubilee. It comes in 12 by 12, or at least that's what I got it in, and it is fabulous. So this is just one sheet of it. But then I wanted a coordinating color, and rather than using a typical cardstock color, I decided to go with another sheet of paper from the same coordinating pattern paper. So I chose this tone on tone, and I'm going to use this as our extra layer for our card base. And I went ahead and die cut this oval from the center, and I'm going to use another oval on top. This is from the Scalloped and Stitch Edge Oval Dies by Spellbinders, and we're going to use this as a focal point on our card. So this is our card base, already ready for us to design with. So now, when I decided what colors of ink and papers I was going to go with, I used all of these colors as my plan to choose from. And that makes sure that the entire card process goes smoothly and is cohesive and is beautifully matched. Now, let's jump into what I did for this ink blending. These are already completed, and we're going to do these here, and then we'll build them together. These are the Magical Fuchsias by Alex Syberia. This is a brand new collection, and it actually has really neat letterpress. It has an embossing folder, stencils, but we're just going to use the die set today because on the 30th of this month, Justine Dvorak and I, the letterpress babes, are going to be live on Stationery by Justine's channel. That's Justine's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Babes Night Out. That live is sponsored by Alex Syberia, and she's got some giveaways, some fun stuff, and maybe a little discount. We will see. But I do want to let you know that we will be playing with those Better Press items and sharing all of that with you then. So do not miss out on that, and you might want to get the products, some of them now, and craft along with us that night. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so I've already inked these, and let me show you how I did it. Now, for all my pink flowers, I went ahead and just used one color. I thought, choose a lighter color cardstock, save yourself time in the inking process. It makes it a lot easier. You're not inking so much. And then just tint the colors the way you want them to look. As you noticed, these colors are really nicely coordinated to the colors on the cardstock. So that was where I was going with this, and that's how I chose my Altenew inks. I'm using the Rose Petal ink collection here, and then Jade for the leaves. And I chose a paper here to coordinate with this pattern paper that we're using as our border color. So let me grab my sticky mats. I'm just using the small sticky mat from Altenew. And let's go ahead and put our petals all on here. Now, these dies from Alex are really cute and coordinate or are numbered. So I've got them set here as, let me see here, let me show you. They are numbered A, B, C, and D. And I've got them set here out the way they are labeled. So this is A, this is B, this is C, and then this is D. So that's how they lay out in the dies, and that's the order we're going to use them in. So it's nice to see them. That way you know which petal works together, and that makes it a lot easier. And I'm going to move these up so that we can move more into the screen for easier viewing. And then let's grab our blending brushes and our first ink. So our lightest ink, we'll go light to dark. And as you can see here, I have all of the colors already done here to make it a little bit easier. But I went ahead and went by the packaging, and that's how I decided on the color choices. Of course, I went with the colors that matched my paper, but I mean from light to dark. So we will go ahead and start with our one petal, because that is our lightest petal. And we will go ahead and just ink blend this to give this a pinker hue. So this one is super easy because we're just giving it a little darker of a hue, but a more pinker hue, so it's closer to our paper colors. I love designing with paper because it just gives you a starting jumping point and everything ends up being cohesive at the end. All right, now the only other one here that we're using that is similar to this is this one right here. So we're going to go ahead and ink this one as well. These are the two that are your lightest pink color. This one is from Die D. All right, so that is Pink Rose. I love this rose collection. Then Puffy Heart. So now we've got our petal there. Then this one is going to be really dark. So then we have this one, which we're going to ink now. Then these are going to be really dark. So I'm going to just sit them right there. Then this one is going to be really dark. And this one is going to be the medium color. All right, so I'm just going to go with this one because we just have the one here. And get this one. So we have him medium or second color. Give him that. And you'll notice that the inks dry back. Like this one looks a little bright right now, but it's going to dry back like this one. Then we will go with Purple Wine. So with Purple Wine, we are going to ink this one. I'm going to ink off just a little bit so it's not too harsh because I don't want this as dark as my darkest. And I don't, I want there to be a decent amount of difference between them. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this one. And I'm not inking the whole thing because we're going to cover that right there. There's lines right there. Let me show you that. See the lines that are right there that you can see because I inked them? Those lines are the petal lines where this one here is going to lay right on top. So you're really just inking this bottom portion here. Makes it really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit more. And then that one is done. All right. Now on this one, what I did on this one is, I'm just going to show you for example, is I took this because this was actually a light pink. And I inked the whole thing and then it dried back. And then I wanted it a little darker. So I took a tiny bit of Cosmic Berry and I just hit the tail end. And that way, when it is attached here, we're going to have the two-tone effect because that's going to be where our buds are all coming from. And that's the same thing I did right here as well. Now we go dark. Dark, 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 baby. So I'm going to go ahead and go dark. I love this deep color. And it's okay if you have little tips or some are fully colored, some aren't completely colored. That is completely okay because in nature, everything is not exact. Like if a little bit of this has a little bit more darkness in it, it's not the end of the world. Nature is nature, So don't get caught up in that. Every flower you look at is going to be a little different. Yours might be more pink than mine. Mine might be more purple than yours. It doesn't matter. Nature, even the flowers on here, this one is deeper than this one is. Some of them have more yellow in them. Some have more orange in them. It is all okay. All right, so I'm going to move these and I'm going to put them with their little counterparts. So we have them for easy assembly. That makes it nice and easy in the end. Now the leaves, all I did with the leaves is pop them on. I'm just going to give them a tad bit of color. I'm not doing anything crazy here. Like you can barely see it on here. I might even go a tiny bit darker I'll put these on here. I'm going to go a little second layer on these because it doesn't really have a whole lot because it really dried back. So we'll just go ahead and give it a little more. I'm using the jade. And I don't want this to be too far out though. See, I want it to coordinate here. So we don't want it to be crazy different, but I do want some variation in my leaves. And when you ink blend, it's darker when you put it on there than it is when it's dry. So you just want to realize that. And, you know, it's not going to be this dark when it dries like this one. This one's dried. This one isn't. So you see that difference? So I'm going to go ahead and give this one some more and see if we end up getting a little darker. And if we don't, that's okay too. I don't want it too dark. These inks and papers are just super, super similar. So I'm just going to give it a little touch, and whatever happens, happens, because that's the beauty of nature. And I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm just kind of being sporadic about it. You can, if you want to, think about where the leaf is going to lie. And of course, closer up to the stem is going to usually be darker. And the underneath, depending on how it's laying, would be darker as well. But for this situation, I'm really just sticking to the stem and the root, you know, of the actual leaf. Okay, for assembly, there are 3 different buds that we're going to have. The first bud is super simple, and we'll probably go ahead and put all of these guys on here so they're all ready for their bud. We'll go ahead and just add glue to the glue dots. 1, 2, and 3. Anytime you see one of those circles with a Spellbinders die, that's what it's wanting you to do, is add the glue to it. There we go. And now this one is going to go on the tip here. Here again, they left a little line there for us to just place it on, like so. So now we're going to have a large fuchsia here and a smaller fuchsia here. The smaller fuchsia doesn't use all of the petals, so I'm going to show you both of them here. All right. The first fuchsia, we'll do the smaller one first. You're going to have the back petal. Then you're going to have this petal right here with these little guys on it. Then you're going to have this dark petal here on top. And of course, you're going to have your stamens. Let's glue our stamen in first. I'm going to hide that up in here behind everything. Then we will attach this little guy right on top. You're just kind of stacking these as you go. Just make sure you cover the yellow stamen portion at the top. Then this has lines again, and you're just going to make sure you ink or you glue right where those are. And then you're going to be placing these right within those lines, like so. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so that you can see that even better. Okay, to place this second one, you should be able to see this a little bit better now. I'm going to go ahead and put that right there where those lines are. And if you notice, when you do that, it curves out and it curves right along the edge there. And then the last thing you're going to do, and you could pop this up. We probably should pop it up. Let's see. Okay, put one little adhesive square there and pop it up like so. I think I like that. Like that. And there's our first baby fuchsia. So now we will go ahead and add her right here on this area. Oh, I like it popped up like that. There we go. Isn't that pretty? All right, we're going to keep another one of these out because we definitely want to pop the other one out too. All right. Now, of course, you can add some leaves. We can add those in just a minute. Let's go ahead and build the other one. Now, you notice we didn't use these. We didn't use this. And that one goes to there. So these were not used in the process of the baby. So let's go ahead and do that again. Go ahead and hook our stamen down. Easy peasy. Then we're going to get our second one. Remember, A, B. We're going to go ahead and add glue to those little top areas that are marked off for us. And we're going to get our beautiful dark petals. And we're going to add them to their little areas. You got to stick, baby. I didn't put too much glue on there because I didn't want it to squeeze out everywhere. I'm going to scooch that up to the edge. There we go. So pretty. So we're going to make this fuller. So I'm going to take this one and add this one on here. Go ahead and build these. And this has this second layer also, you know, the lines also there, but the pieces all together, which is nice. So that lays that. Isn't that pretty, the way that the coloring works? See, this is lighter, and then this is a little darker. And then we have this little guy, and these are going to hook like this. So we're going to go ahead and put this one back here, like so. Then we're going to put this one on here first. Building it up from the back up, like this layer, and then this layer, and that's going to give it depth. There we go. Then we have that top petal, which is going to give it the drama. So let's get our little foam square there. Give it even more drama. And we'll go ahead and get our pretty petal. And we'll put it like that. Look there. Isn't it gorgeous? Now we'll add her right down here. Like so. So now we can bring this piece of paper in and see how we're looking. Now we can decide where we want our leaves. You know, and you can move this however you want. You can, you know, scooch it one way or the other. Let's put some leaves on it and then we can decide. So we can decide like where we want those, like that. Yeah, so we can decide if we want them like there. And they've really made one bigger than the other and one going in each direction, which is kind of smart. I like that. But they're different sizes, so that is really cool. And then we can decide if we want to put these little ones up here, coming out of that. And I might, because of the top of ours, let's see. I might just leave it like that and keep these guys off. I don't know. Do I want a little one with this guy? Let's see. I don't know if it would look right. Or maybe coming out like that. So she has a little babe coming. Let's get these glued down. I really like the idea of the way these two are touching each other. So let's see if we can get that to work, because I loved that, the way that looked. And see if I can get that to do that. I really like the way that looked on the paper. Look at that. Isn't it pretty? Now, let's look at it with our paper, though. It's going to just pop right off, don't you think? Okay. So let's go ahead and glue this. And you know what? Do I want to glue it or do I want to pop it? Let's pop it up. Because these are the 1mm, so they don't pop so much that it's obnoxious, which I love. I love that these are just gentle pops. So if you don't use 1mm currently, you might want to look into the 1mm foam squares. If you're planning on watching the Better Press Babes live on the 30th of April, because we're going to be playing with this collection again. And I, for one, cannot wait to get my hands onto some of that Better Press stuff. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, I got to concentrate here. I'm off screen. I'm not off screen, but I'm like out of frame from the middle. Let's get you to where I can see straight too. All right, do I want to tilt it? Do I want it straight? I think I just want this guy tilted just a little down here, just to give it some interest. I'll let her go off to the side. Look at that. Let's get this just a little bit so it's separate. Look at that. Love it. Then we can just attach this here. Those little foam squares are all over my house. Does that happen to you? Do you find your little foam backs and stuff like on the bathroom floor and in the laundry room? Is it just a crafty note? That happens all the time. Glued all because I'm sitting here talking about paper, but I didn't want to waste my paper, so I cut that piece from the center, and no one will ever know because this will be hooked to my card base. So I'm not going to worry about anybody ever knowing. And I use really heavyweight card bases, like 110 pound. So they will never know. So now we're just going to pop this on here. And I think I'm going to use foam for this. We will pop it up with the Altenew foam tape to just give this some extra lift. I love the way the Altenew foam tape is where you can cut it to size, any size you want, and also has this floral backing that's always so easy to get off, even if you don't have nails. And it just is always so pretty. Oh, you know what? I almost put it on upside down. And place it down. Like so. There you go. Now, the only thing left here is for me to put a sentiment on it. And I'm going to go ahead and do that off screen. And I will show you the finished card coming up right here at the end. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I so appreciate you. I hope you like designing with pattern paper and that you've enjoyed and learned something new today. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye, my friends.